Tonight, live from the Keys, live from the West Coast, live from South Florida, and live from the 7 Newsplex. Our Hurricane Dennis continuing coverage begins right now.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Phil Farrell. The new coordinates set to come in, and Dennis still one ferocious storm.
I'm Joel Brown in Key West. People moving out and Dennis's bands moving in.
I'm Natalie Solis reporting from the Upper Keys, where things have just about ground to a halt. And for those who are still here, they're sticking it out for the duration.
I'm Tom Haynes in the Plex.
I'm Lynn Martinez. Hurricane Dennis already destroying parts of the Caribbean.
We're taking in the pictures. I'm Dave Cartoonin in the Panhandle, where countless residents are preparing for possible landfall.
I'm Tiffany Tucker on South Beach on a windy Friday night.
I'm Charles Belay in Broward County. What are the people here expecting from Dennis? We're going to show you.
Good evening, South Florida. I'm Craig Stevens.
I'm Belkis Nare. We're pulling an all-nighter, and our live coverage starts now.
This is a special edition of 7 News. Tracking Hurricane Dennis.
There it is, the latest satellite picture of Dennis, the once near Category 5 killer cutting through Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica, leaving dozens dead.
Live pictures now from the Florida Keys, Key West, a ghost town. Dennis getting closer and residents getting out.
We're live in Key Largo at this hour. The squalls coming through, severe weather alerts up across the Keys and much of South Florida.
And we are live in the Florida Panhandle, where the anticipation mounts for a potential Dennis landfall.
These pictures out of Cuba as Dennis crashes through the island, devastation and death in the wake of the storm. New video pouring in, we'll have it.
We have extensive live 19 coverage with Phil Farrell, Joel Brown, Natalie Solis, Tom Haynes, Lynn Martinez, Charles Belay, Dave Cartoonin, and Tiffany Tucker. Good evening, everyone. Dennis doing extensive damage in Cuba, and now it's on to the Florida Straits, and even a tornado warning now for parts of South Florida.
If you are watching in the Keys, you have not gotten out, you are out of time. Chief Meteorologist Phil Farrell has the latest for us. Phil?
That's right, that evacuation has been canceled, and you were talking about a tornado warning. That tornado warning is in effect for Miami-Dade County until 10:15 this evening, and now a new advisory. This is for a severe thunderstorm warning for western Broward County, and this is again due to some very squally weather that's moving through the area and will continue to do so at least throughout the next 6 to 8 hours. Now here's Hurricane Dennis. There's a center of circulation right about there. It is continuing its movement towards the northwest, but plenty of rainfall behind it. Another thing that you can tell is that the oranges and the reds are starting to dissipate. This is an indication that the storm is starting to lose a little bit of its punch. Here are the 9 p.m. advisory numbers. Category 3 now on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Winds of 115 miles per hour. The pressure is starting to rise a little bit. 22.8 north, 81.7 west, moving towards the northwest. And right now, it is centered 120 miles southeast of Key West. Take a look at this satellite imagery. We can clearly see the spin of the storm as it moves through central Cuba. There is Havana. The worst is still towards the east, but there's plenty of banding coming across South Florida, and that banding is what's bringing us the squally weather. The reason for this is because we are in what's called the dirty sector, and that is the northeast quadrant of the storm. Here we can see those bands coming across. Now, if we split the hurricane into 4 equal parts, this northeast quadrant is the one that usually has the most heavy potential for rainstorms and also some strong winds. So it is right here. And aside of bringing us the squally weather, it can also bring us the potential of tornadoes. And that's why we are under a tornado watch until tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. And many of the areas towards the north will probably have a tornado watch extended through the morning hours. Here's the storm tracking radar. You see the cell right here? That is why the National Weather Service has issued that severe thunderstorm warning for Broward County. Fortunately, right now it is west of US 27, moving over the Everglades, but there's plenty of rainfall. This is training. This is one of those feeder bands that's coming all across Biscayne Bay from the Bahamas, across Miami right now with some very heavy downpours, and it is moving well inland. You should get much rainfall coming in within the next 12 hours or so. We have now a new severe thunderstorm warning for western Broward and South Florida. This will be until 11 p.m. Again, another severe thunderstorm warning for western Broward County until 11 p.m. We're following all this coming across Biscayne Bay, moving across North Miami-Dade County, and right here, this is the area that we're looking at right now. Now until 11 p.m., all this moisture will continue to make its way towards the Gulf of Mexico. And take a look at all the lightning sparking up here right now. It's going to be a very stormy evening across South Florida. Now, when we talk about the feeder bands, here's a great illustration of what we're talking about. Here's this line of storms moving through, and this is part of the feeder band that's taking all the moisture from the Atlantic and wrapping it all around into the eye of the hurricane. But how long will this last? I posed this question just a few moments ago to Max Mayfield, the director of the National Hurricane Center.
Oh, it's going to be all night and much of the day tomorrow, I think, all through the Florida Keys, and those bands will drag across the southern portion of the peninsula much of the day on Saturday.
Are you still confident on the forecast track that once the eye emerges into the Gulf Stream waters, that it'll be very, very close to the Keys, at least on the west side?
Well, we think we still have a good forecast, and the actual forecast has the core of the hurricane passing to the west of the lower Keys. That's good news, but I can assure you that there's some very, very strong winds in these rain bands out here that will pass over the Keys, and nothing magical happens when you hit hurricane winds of 74 miles per hour versus 73 or 70 or 65. They're going to have some strong winds in the Florida Keys, and it will likely do a little bit of damage, maybe even some power outages.
And now the hurricane has been weakening over the last few hours. Is this a good sign? Is it continuing to lose its punch? Do you expect for this to go on?
Sure, it's a good thing that it's losing its punch, and the longer it stays over land, the more it will have a chance to weaken here. So it may very well weaken down to a Category 2 hurricane even when it comes off the north coast. But this is so powerful in the mid to upper levels that as soon as it gets out of that southeastern Gulf of Mexico, we're pretty confident it will regain some of that strength.
Now, is this still going to be a major rain event for South Florida? What are you looking at as far as accumulation?
Well, the local forecast office is still saying, I believe, 4 to 8 inches. This is not going to be catastrophic flooding by any means. The big concern is going to be in the lower Keys and then up into the North Gulf Coast. And
then a quick final question. Are you still on track for this to be an event for the Gulf states?
Absolutely, and the hurricane watch that we put up at 5 p.m. Goes from the Steinhatchee River over to the Pearl River, and that's really basically the same area that Ivan impacted. And so those folks have got the drill down pretty good up there, and we're working very, very closely with the emergency managers in Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi.
Thank you very much. Max Mayfield, the director of the National Hurricane Center, joining us this evening. Thank you. And now let's review that forecast track. It should be in the Florida Straits sometime tomorrow morning, and then 2 p.m. in the center of the Gulf, and then moving rather quickly through the Florida Panhandle. It should make landfall sometime Sunday afternoon. I'll have more on this and the complete forecast a little bit later on. Back to Belkis and Craig.
All right, and from you, Phil, we want to check in with our crews in the field.
Our first stop tonight is going to be Key West. That is where we find the night team's Joel Brown. He's live on Duval Street, where there's not a lot of partying going on tonight, huh, Joel?
Not tonight. What a difference a day makes. We showed you last night when all those folks were still strolling along, even in the wake of those hurricane warnings. It's not that way now. That evacuation order lifted. It's too late to get out of Key West. So the folks who made that very conscious decision to ride this storm out are going to have to do it in the dark already. Just before we went on air, we had a big gust of wind and a little rain and a blackout now on the streets of Key West. No more power for as far as I can see. And Dennis isn't even here yet.
Closed in the Keys, much of downtown Key West ominously abandoned. Early bands of Dennis bringing rain and wind gusts. It's been increasing all day. Even the threat of a Category 4 storm not scaring everyone out of the Keys. Waves of water with waves of residents ignoring the hurricane warning.
I'm aware of that most of the residents are still staying. I don't know any of my friends who even has considered leaving.
You sound so sure.
We will be fine.
And too late to change your mind as Dennis nears. The last bus out of town took off Friday, and passengers packed the airport per the evacuation order. The last flight to safer ground.
When they say they're going to close the hotel, there's no food, and you're going to be sleeping in a gymnasium or a church, it's time to go. It's time to get out of town.
Those staying behind cleared the shelves for supplies at the local supermarket as the stores shut down. Local hospitals evacuating, patients air flighted out further north.
The hospitals are closed. I'm afraid that if someone is in need of a medical services, they're not going to be able to get it.
Another concern, but no more warnings.
No more warnings. It's going to ride this one out on your own at this point. The city and the county say they are prepared. Whoever got out, it's a good thing. We are in the dark now in Key West. We took a power hit, and it is a blackout as far as you can see. That's the latest now in the Keys as we await those outer bands with more rain and more wind. We'll keep you posted. We're live for now. Joel Brown, 7 News 19.
All right, Joel, thanks for that live report.
As we mentioned, there are concerns in this immediate, the metropolitan area, of tornadoes, and there is a report at this hour of a touchdown in South Dade.
Yes, there is. Diane Fernandez live in Homestead for us with the situation there. Diane, what's up?
Hey, Belkis, you don't have to be in Key West tonight to already start feeling the effects of Dennis as it inches towards and closer to South Florida. We're here off of Lucy Street in Homestead tonight, where its outer bands, the first outer bands of this storm, brought down this huge limb a couple of hours ago right on top of this family's minivan. Obviously, it's a total loss tonight, crushed under the weight of this huge limb, a limb that also brought down some part of a window there. And here to talk to us now is the homeowner, Juan Martinez. Talk to me a little bit. I know that you weren't home when it happened, but you got a frightening phone call.
Yes, I did. I was actually a couple of miles away from the house, and the wife called me, says the minivan just got smashed by the tree in front of the trailer. I really didn't believe it until I actually started pulling up and saw the effects of what a hurricane can actually do. That's, 200 plus miles away.
Now, you've mentioned that you weathered Andrew here at Homestead. You also would have evacuated had you been ordered to.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And you're just stunned that a storm that is still this far away and didn't call for an evacuation of your area, of this mobile home park, could do this.
Well, it just goes to show, you know, what a magnitude of a hurricane Category 4 can do when you're such a distance away from it. You know?
Okay. Juan Martinez, thank you so much for joining us live here tonight. Now, we can tell you that we were just a few miles away a couple of hours ago, and we've been feeling some severe gusts of wind, some serious squalls, and we, of course, will be here and follow the storm throughout the night. We're live in Homestead tonight. Diane Fernandez, 7 News 19.
All right, it's time to head back a little bit further south now.
I want to check in the situation in the Keys, the Upper Keys right now. Natalie Solis in Key Largo for us. Natalie?
That's right, here in Key Largo, and right now not a single drop of rain, which is very nice. Like Diane just mentioned, we too are feeling those intermittent gusts of wind, that wind really kicking things up around here. As you can see, these newspaper boxes have been completely blown over. Certainly no hope for them as winds continue to increase. But one thing I also want to point out, if we can pan right over here towards US 1, we've got a couple of cars coming here, but really they've been few and far between, and that is certainly a good thing because that means that people have been heeding officials' advice, and that is to stop traveling at this hour and to go ahead and hunker down and just prepare for whatever may be coming our way. A vacation town vacated, or seemingly so. Friday night, residents of Key Largo sticking around, but not staying on the streets.
No, not very worried, but I'm keeping an eye on everything just to make sure. We're not far from the mainland, so if anything happens, then we'll get on out of here too.
Restaurants like Tugboat's Garden of Eden, a haven for hardened natives.
There's not too many places that are open right now, and we live upstairs, so we're here for the duration, unless it gets a little closer to Key West.
The mandatory evacuation order dropped. Residents advised to stop traveling and hunker down before it's too late, before conditions worsen, before debris becomes deadly. Early afternoon squalls making roads nearly impassable through the Middle Keys. But by night, exactly what authorities hope for, silent streets.
We've stayed open sometimes, you know, when when people coming up out of the bottom of the Keys come through, they'll stop here. But this is just too much wind and rain, so we had to close down today.
Business owners in Isla Mirada feeling the impact of the mass exodus. The places thriving on Dennis, where hurricanes and hunger meet.
I only have 2 left at home, just in case.
And yet there are those who insist there's more time, waiting for a final sign to stay or go.
Well, when my dog starts flying around the port and hangs on to something, I go, okay, that looks like it's about time for us to go.
All right, and this just in, we found out that there is no power right now south of the 7 Mile Bridge. Again, no electricity south of the 7 Mile Bridge, and we do not know how long that will continue. Hopefully, they can get things up and going down there as soon as possible. Up here in Key Largo, power out intermittently. As you can see, we've still got plenty of light here. Let's go ahead and go to some other information. For those of you who may still be on the roads, but hit some pretty treacherous conditions, there are places that you can go. One of them, Key West High School in the Lower Keys, Stanley Switlick School off of US 1 in Marathon, and Coral Shores High School off of mile marker 90. These places should be your last resort, but if you need to, you can go there. Keep in mind that they are only providing security, so you will need to bring all of your own supplies. We are live in Key Largo. Natalie Solis, 7 News Night 2.
All right, Natalie, thanks. We'll be checking back.
Want to bring you guys up to speed on that tornado warning that we told you about earlier. The one for northern Miami-Dade County has now been canceled, the tornado warning. However, there is a tornado watch that remains in effect until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, which means that conditions are favorable for a tornado, but not imminent.
And real quick, just to clarify the point about the Keys earlier, as we talked about the Keys, we mentioned that if folks who hadn't evacuated, particularly in the lower Keys, and they hadn't gotten out, they're stuck. Well, that's because emergency officials are saying there's not enough time for you to leave the Keys now to evacuate safely, so they want you to stay put if you happen to be there and you're watching us right now. So from where the storm is moving in, we want to talk about where the storm has already been now.
The night team's Tom Haynes is pulling in all of the latest pictures out of Cuba for us tonight.
Here, but as soon as that watch went up, there was heavy lightning, light rain, and people beginning to prepare. Everyone along this Gulf Coast has been through something in the last 12 months, and they took those lessons and went out and prepared themselves, even if they don't find themselves inside the cone of uncertainty now. So in towns even inland like Chiefland, we were at the Walmart today, people were buying water and buying all their supplies, getting gas, and all the way out to Pensacola, the evacuations are already on. So we will be following Dennis closely, and wherever he goes, we will too. For now, we're live in Keaton Beach. Dave Cartoonin, 7 News 19.
We know you will. You be careful, Dave. Thank you.
Just ahead here in a couple of minutes, more on the all-important forecast track as Dennis moves into the Gulf.
Key West, in the thick of it right now. These are some live pictures as our photog there wipes off the lens of his camera. This major hurricane may come dangerously close to Key West.
Also, a look at where Dennis has already been. Cuba taking a direct hit. Damage extensive. Reports are still coming in, and we'll have the latest as we continue.
7 Weather brought to you exclusively by your local Toyota dealers.
Here's the deal.
Whoa. Before we get started, there's something you should know about me.
What's that?
Debate champion Carver Middle School, 1984. Yeah. I still got it.
Yes, you do.
With deals this big, they're hard to believe. Get $1,500 cash back or 1.9% financing for 36 months on the 05 Camry LE. Toyota's big one. That's moving you forward.
$99 a month. Buy a new 05 Hyundai Elantra from just $99 a month. Only at Bill Seidel Hyundai, Northwest 36th Street and 32nd Avenue, just $10 east of the airport.
I was smart enough for college and smart enough to know college was not for me. My goal was to enter a high-paying job market without spending 4 years of studying. Fortunately, I found Fast Train offers high-demand, high-wage careers in 4 months, not 4 years. In just 4 months of evening classes, I became a medical coding and billing specialist. Fast Train's career placement services even found me my dream job in a major health firm. Do yourself a favor and call Fast Train now at 866-FAST-TRAIN.
City Furniture now offers same-day delivery 7 days a week. Now you can get the furniture you want when you want it. Just go into your nearest City Furniture showroom today and we will deliver your new furniture tonight. Plus, you'll enjoy no payments for 1 full year and no interest. Same-day delivery 7 days a week. What a concept.
$99 a month. Buy a new 05 Kia Spectra from just $99 a month. Only at Bill Seidel Kia, Northwest 36th Street and 32nd Avenue, just $10 east of the airport.
All right, as of 11 p.m., it looks like Hurricane Dennis continues to lose its punch. Now it is a Category 2. The very latest satellite imagery indicating that no longer do we have all those reds and oranges just banding around the eye of the hurricane. Right now, it's starting to lose a lot of its intensity, but there's still plenty of rain out here. All these feeder bands coming across South Florida and bringing a lot of rainfall. Now, this is what we've got. This is not as of 9, but as of 11 p.m. Now it's just a Category 2. Winds of 110 miles per hour, 23.0 north, 82.1 west, moving northwest at around 14, and now is centered 110 miles south of Key West. It should emerge into the Florida Straits, I think, within the next 6, maybe 5 to 6 hours, and then continue on its way into the Gulf of Mexico. The very heaviest of the rain right now moving into the Hallandale, Hollywood, Dania. This is part of a feeder band, some moderate to heavy rainfall. We also have some rain over Coral Gables and Westchester. South Florida radar showing that we've got this band that's moving across Broward County into Collier, and here's another one setting up just offshore, should be coming across Miami and parts of Hialeah within the next 45 minutes. Here's the new forecast cone. 8 a.m. it should be well west of the Keys, 8 p.m. in the center of the Gulf, 8 a.m. on Sunday, very close to Pensacola, Florida, and it should make landfall somewhere in this area by Monday. We'll keep you updated all throughout the night. Let's send it back to Belkis and Craig.
Okay, Phil, thanks. We know you will.
Well, still ahead from the night team, more live pictures from down south. This is a pretty empty Duval Street. A couple of people crossing the street there, but the streets are pretty much empty, but the wind and the rain is whipping up there from time to time. Those squalls coming through. We're going to have a live report straight ahead.
Contrast the abandoned Duval Street with these pictures from South Beach. Well, one, the power is on, and the people in some cases are out, although officials are advising everybody to be very careful because it's gusty and rainy out there. We'll continue to check in with our crews, and we'll be back in a minute.
7 News brought to you in part by South Florida Ford Dealers.
If it's leather that you want, the look, the feel, the durability, and the style, come into Carl's Greatest Leather Sale. The greatest selection at the absolute lowest prices. Carl's Greatest Leather Sale.
Hey, it's me. Meet me at sunset. Don't be late.
Great explorers know all the right trails.
I see you got my message.
The 245 horsepower all-wheel drive Nissan Murano.
I'm 7's Chief Meteorologist, Phil Farrow. Hurricane season is here. Are you prepared?
Prepare now for hurricane season with the WSVN Hurricane Map and Guide. From supplies and safety tips to a handy tracking chart, everything you need to stock up and stay safe.
Pick up your free copy at Publix.
The WSVN Hurricane Map and Guide. Brought to you by Publix, Hot 105, 99 Jams, 97.3 The Coast, and 93 Rock.
The Hyundai Elantra will win you over. Loaded with standard features like dual front and front side impact airbags. It's the winner of Strategic Vision's 2004 Total Value Award. And Hyundai's quality lets us offer America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. The Hyundai Elantra. Come test drive yours, starting at $11,844. And $1,800 less than a Honda Civic LX when comparably equipped. So get to Hyundai today. Get a 2005 Hyundai Elantra with up to $2,000 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer.
It's Carl's greatest mattress sale. Carl's exclusive Sealy Alistair Pillow Top. Half off at only $599. Sweet dreams at that price. And pay nothing for 1 year. Carl's greatest mattress sale. Don't miss it.
Hurricane Dennis storming through Cuba.
We don't expect this to weaken anytime soon.
For complete coverage of Hurricane Dennis, stay with 7 News.
All right, live pictures out of a rather windy South Beach, windy enough to topple that tree over right there. The Hurricane Dennis still not even about 110 miles south of Key West, but that doesn't mean that the South Beach people there aren't getting a little rain and a little wind from time to time.
Let's check back in with Tiffany Tucker. She's on the beach, as you see there. Tiffany?
Not your typical day on the beach or night out here on South Beach. It's raining. The wind has been going all night long, and you saw this tree behind me. I want you to take another look at it because it really toppled over late this afternoon. In fact, one woman captured it on her home video. She said it was about 50-mile-per-hour winds. She was on her balcony and couldn't believe what happened. Another tree had snapped. I want to show you some pictures right now on top of our mass cam, rather, on top of our live truck. You can see right there, those are the waves we've been talking about all day long. In fact, the red flags were out on the beach, and lifeguards were rescuing about 20 or so people. We were told 3 of them had to be taken to the hospital, not life-threatening injuries, but again, they were warning people to be careful out there, just going into the water maybe waist or ankle deep. Now, back out live in our pictures here, you're looking now at South Beach. Believe it or not, it's South Beach, it's Friday night, but it almost looks like a ghost town. The only people who are really out are those who are inside the restaurants. Not a lot of cruising happening, but again, we've got lots of winds out here. We've got plenty of rain, and it's just a mess right now. But fortunately, no injuries that we've heard of. One more thing I should mention, about 60,000 people in Miami-Dade and Broward without power. FPNL, we should tell you, they're working on this. Live from Miami Beach, Tiffany Tucker, 7 News, 19.
All right, Tiffany, thanks.
It's going to be a long night for power crews out there. Well, our coverage of Hurricane Dennis will continue.
Where is this storm headed next, and how strong is it going to be when it gets there? Coverage continues in a moment.